Hi Daniel. I think this is what you're after. You wanted the texture in a perspective plane, and here's the final result, and I'll show you how I got there. Um, we'll start with a blank layer because I can't delete that layer unless I have a layer. Now I'm going to, instead of using, on the document I gave you, I made a new layer using this tool, this feature, a pattern special layer by choosing here, and then it would completely fill a given pattern or a given layer with that pattern. But instead of doing that, I would suggest using a shape layer. Gives you a little more flexibility. I'm going to create a simple shape layer using the rectangle tool and make sure that the option up here is selected shape as opposed to path or pixels. Then I'll drag out a shape that I want, and right now it's blank. I have intentionally chosen no fill and no stroke because I'm going to assign it a pattern in the effects using the effects drop-down menu. So I'll choose pattern overlay and then select a pattern out of your choices. And this is why I suggest using a shape layer as opposed to a pattern fill layer. I can also give it a stroke if I want. You can change those parameters, but I'm going to stick with the default and say OK. Now I have a simple flat pattern that I can scale with the scale tool. If I just simply, I'm on a Mac, so I'm using Command T to get to the scale tool. And then when I drag, you'll notice it will scale. It scales the rectangle, but it doesn't scale the texture inside. So that's just a limitation of this. Now I could, to enter that, make that permanent, that scale, I'll hit enter. I could go into pattern overlay, double click this, and change the scale of the pattern here. But instead of doing that, now you can, that's a good option if you just want to change the proportions or the scale of the overall pattern. In this case, I am going to convert this layer to a smart object. So I'll right click on the layer thumbnail and choose convert to smart object. Now you see it has been nested into a, the icon has changed slightly. Now I can scale this smart object, and the texture scales along with the smart object. Command Z. I can distort it using the corners. Now in this case I'm going to start by clicking a corner and then hold the, on the Mac it would be Option and Command. I can either skew it or just holding the Option key and the Shift key, I can create a distortion this way. I'm going to go back, and there's a, if I hold both Option and Command down before I click, I'm actually holding three modifier keys, Command, Option, and Shift, to get this one-point perspective effect. And then I could drag the middle handle in to get the look I want. Now I'll hit enter. Now I have distorted this. I can edit the content of the smart object, though, by double clicking the thumbnail of the smart object, and you'll see that the original smart object content opens in a new document. If you'll see that this document is called rectangle PSB, or large format document. The test file is the one that is considered our original document. Now if I want to make changes to this, I can go into pattern overlay, double click that, change the color, the pattern, change the color of the stroke if I wanted to. I could do all this with this open. Let's see here, something really ugly. Or not so. I can also pull the color right off the screen. So maybe it's going to be a darker tone. Same tone, different value. Okay. Enough playing. Now I click OK. Now I need to hit save. And now when I close this document, I will get an updated master file, or master document. Does that make sense? I'm not sure where you're going wrong or what the error message was referring to, but make sure you create your layer with the pattern you want, right click it to create it to convert it to a smart object, and then you can make any distortions using the free transform. I get to free transform on the Mac, Command T, or image. I have to have something selected. Edit, free transform, Command T.